It was a series of small things that led a handful of people to make one big dream come true. The dream was for a home where those who were dying could go to find loving care in their final days. Just a home filled with kindness.
My husband was in Clarehouse for 3 months. He got diagnosed with a glioblastoma in 2007, and it spread to his spine and spinal cord in 2017.
My father was diagnosed with brain cancer in April of 2017. We knew that it was time that we needed some assistance.
I came to Clarehouse in 2005 with my son Tristan. He was born with a congenital heart defect called hypoplastic left heart syndrome.
Looking back, I think that I was more at peace coming here versus if he were at home.
The situation was already stressful, so they were able to kind of take some of that stress off me. I was able to get some sleep while I was at Clarehouse, which I didn't think was going to be possible.
Finding a place that I could bring him and let go was the hardest thing for me.
The number one reason why I do this job is I love people. If they can keep them comfortable, if I can make them laugh, if I can get them to tell me a story, then it makes me know that I'm doing everything I can as a nurse.
I look back at why I'm so thankful that we ended up at Clarehouse, and that's because it really allowed my mom to accept end of life.
The nurses and staff were here all the time for me, so I don't remember how many nights that I would wake up in the night just scared or crying, and I would just sit on the couch with them.
This was monumental in concreting the acceptance of his end of life and being able to go through it without strife.
I was able to step back and be the wife versus having to feed him or change him or turn him in the bed. And that meant a huge thing because I was able to be here, when he took his last breath, just holding his hand.
Dying is hard, and so if we can alleviate that and make the family members feel like that they're doing the best thing they can to help take care of their loved one, they're doing the right thing.
The hardest part of this job is getting attached. You get to know their families and them and a little bit about them, and then when it's their time, it's kind of hard because you felt like you've lost one of your family members in the process of that.
To be able to have, a group of people to come in and say, let us help you, that's what we're here for. That's something that you don't forget, It makes the memory a little bit easier.
I think it really saved us as a family more than anything. I am constantly, telling people that, if you can and you have the opportunity, it will make your life better, easier, more comfortable when it comes to end of life at any point in time for anybody.
Running a free home for dying people would be very difficult if not for the wonderful volunteers at Clarehouse. 250 caring adults, teens, and preteens volunteer their efforts to create a haven of hospitality. They ensure that Clarehouse is a home away from home, where daily tasks are taken care of and family can simply be family again, making the most of every moment together.
I started volunteering here in 2011, shortly after my husband died. While I was going through grief counseling, I heard about Clarehouse and I thought, that's something I can do. One of the things I do is I cook once a month, and when I have a family member who comes and gives me a big hug, then that makes all of it worthwhile for me. And I have friends who say, how can you possibly enjoy being somewhere that's so sad? But to me, this is life, and it's a part of life that we all will face or have faced, and it has just made my faith stronger.
I became a volunteer because I knew that it was free and that Clarehouse largely relies on volunteers for staffing, and I wanted to be part of that and help another person But what I didn't know is somewhere during the process, I started receiving as much as I was giving out. So another reason that I volunteer here is I was very fortunate to journey with my parents to the very end of their lives and actually be present when both of them passed away. And there were times through that journey that it was really hard. Even though I have the love and support of my sisters and other family members, there were times I needed a hug, or I needed a warm meal, or I needed somebody to do the dishes or help with the laundry. I didn't have that, and it made the journey hard. And when you come to Clarehouse, you're going to get a hug, and sometimes you're going to get a warm meal, and somebody's going to do the laundry, and somebody's going to do the dishes, and somebody's going to do the yard. Because Clarehouse is here to be that support to the guests and to the friends and family to the very end. And it's just truly an honor to be able to do that for somebody.
This place has been a true gift, a gift from the community to the community. But how did this small group move mountains? No one ever does it alone. If not for the generosity of over 50 foundations and nearly 15,000 individuals, Clarehouse would still be just a dream. Strong leadership along the journey has enabled Clarehouse to navigate obstacles and be excellent stewards of the resources provided through donations and grants.
Being able to articulate this vision that Kelly had to funders and to just individuals that might get involved was a chore at first.
When people ask me, how did this get started, I oftentimes say lightly, we've made it up as we went along. And in some ways we really did. But what we did all along the way was take advice, talk to people, listen to input, adjust our plan, and continually strive to do what would be best for the organization.
Early on, they sought out community leaders and sought their advice and listened to a lot of that advice.
I have been involved personally and with some foundations that I represent who have funded Clarehouse for many years, and we have always been impressed by the frugality that Clarehouse exhibits, by the board governance that Clarehouse exhibits, by the wonderful leadership that Kelly provides, and we feel that our funds are being spent so wisely.
They have always been extremely grateful for those monies, most appreciative, and use them to the fullest extent that they can, making the most of those monies.
Clarehouse should be important to every community, and I think that Tulsa is indeed fortunate to have it. And to the extent that we can have a peaceful cycle of life, I would want the entire community, the entire nation, the entire world, and the entire planet to have a peaceful cycle in life, which includes a peaceful and comforted death surrounded by loved ones. We really salute Clarehouse and the people who are involved with it.
10 years into the story, a decision was made to help people outside these walls begin to talk about the difficulties so many faced at a time of health crisis. Clarehouse opened its doors to healthcare students on a wider scale and now partner with 13 colleges and universities, and embracing the belief that every community needs a Clarehouse and freely sharing what they've learned, nationwide mentoring began. The dream that took root in Tulsa is now leading a national movement to foster community homes for dying people.
I think Clarehouse is important to this community because it's started the dialogue about death.
Nobody likes to acknowledge that this might be a situation they have to deal with, and death is hard. And We want to help people find a comfort level with having those conversations so that they can talk about what they want. And our education efforts are aimed at that on multiple levels. So we try to help the community get comfortable with those conversations and share information with each other and prepare.
I interned at Clarehouse as a care assistant. I think what surprised me the most is that how comfortable I was able to get with the caregivers and the families. You know, in this type of environment, you don't know, what you're walking into. You don't know exactly what these people have been through. And I think me being able to get comfortable with them and being able to talk to everyone, like I just, that I've known them for, like I've known them forever, I think that really surprised me the most. I think the experience here at Clarehouse was able to push me towards more palliative care and geriatrics.
We believe that every community should have a Clarehouse. May not be what they call it, but whatever they choose to call it, the mission and the heart is the same.
The main benefit from Clarehouse going forward is the knowledge and the experience Kelly has had putting this whole thing together and how she can provide a model for other communities for their Clarehouse and the thousands of families that could be served there as have been served here at Clarehouse in Tulsa.
Through the Omega Home Network, we have become more impactful at getting that message out, communicating that vision, and helping mentor projects that are working to build a home.
If you could replicate that model throughout 25, 50 communities throughout the United States and the hundreds of thousands of families that would serve, then that would be, I think, more than even Kelly could have ever dreamed of.
It's one way for us to take what we do at the bedside and translate that out into the wider community. So that outreach that we do out in the world is really informed by what happens every day in our home.
Moments in time are fleeting, but helping to capture those with grace and dignity for our guests and their families is a gift of immeasurable value.
One of the things that I continually learn and feel amazed about is the sense of presence in this house. When you come through these doors, especially as a guest or family member, the outside world just stops. It has to, because what's happening here is the most important thing. And many of us never have the opportunity to experience that. What is this immediacy of presence that can give pause for reflection, for strengthening relationships, for creating moments that will be cherished forever? And that unique opportunity that we offer is something I will always be deeply grateful for.
It is amazing to me that this community has rallied behind Clarehouse year after year and supported this organization. And I'm just so very proud to be part of it.
Many of us have dreamed and had dreams. Few of us accomplish our dreams, and very few of us ever realize a dream as significant as what Kelly did. She's realized a dream that has impacted thousands of families in Oklahoma. Seeing this dream realized from the concept to all the way through to what we have today has been the most fulfilling thing and satisfying thing for me.
Obviously, it's filling a need, and the waiting list is always full. So we're doing something right. And after 15 years, it's kind of proved itself.
Since my buddy Michael has passed away here and my cousin Belinda has passed away here, I understand that I just need to love my friends and family now, and I need to share life with them in the present, because there are no guarantees, and I've learned that very much with Clarehouse.
Knowing that we've reached over 4,000 families in the last 15 years, that we've built a sustainable organization that is making a difference in so many ways, and being a part of a project that, above all else, communicates extraordinary kindness. It means the world to all of us, to everyone that's involved at whatever level that is. I think it's the love and compassion and the kindness that we're the most proud of.